A new beginning in Las Vegas with Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler at the head coach and general manager positions respectively. And now there's something else that comes out of this. Now, I have to preface this by saying, when I really started watching the Vikings, which is my favorite team, I know some of you are going to be in the comment section down below, but it's my team, and I'm also obviously AFC. If I had to say out of the AFC, the Raiders would probably be my team. That's just me. No bull, just right down the middle. I would say the Raiders are my AFC team. There, I'm sure we satisfied a certain part of the demographic. But I do feel like there is a time and a place where you have to look at a franchise and say, that was a turning point, or this or that or whatever. Like, there has to be a moment when you see success in a franchise that you're like, that was the turning point. This hire right there was the turning point. Obviously, for the Vikings, you're hoping that the way things are going with O'Connell, with the recent hiring of O'Connell, you really hope that is it. You hope that's a turning point for their franchise. But with the recent hires of Josh McDaniels and Kevin O'Connell, why couldn't I remember it off the top of my head? I apologize. That's disgraceful. The hiring of Kevin O'Connell, you hope that's it for the Vikings. But with the recent hirings of Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, I think this is a turning point for the franchise. I think it's a turning point for a couple different reasons. Obviously, we've already talked about a lot of these. Number one, I think you're going to see guys that get the best player available, and they develop those players and continue to do that. And I think that's the main point of this video. This franchise is going to be changing. It's going to be changing a lot. And I think for the better, because I think there's going to be a bigger focus on building through the draft. And I think that's where this team has kind of either lacked or just hasn't been as good, whether it was Mike Mayock as the GM or whatever. There is a lot of reasons I think this franchise is headed towards a lot of success. And I think it's because of these two hires for their GM and head coaching positions. I think if you build through the draft, you are more likely to have success. I have seen it with the Vikings. I've seen it even with other franchises. We've seen it through with the Rams. Now, granted, they did go out and get a bunch of signings, but I think there's something to be said of teams that can find the both there. They can find the happy medium of drafting your guys, guys, and guys that honestly don't get a lot of credit. I think that's another thing. You think about guys like, this is just going to be safety positions off the top of my head, but if you look at players for the Vikings like Harrison Smith, who doesn't get a lot of credit, or Anthony Barr, who has done a lot for the defense in the past, especially lining everybody up in their correct positions, but just doesn't get a lot of credit. Denzel Perryman for the Raiders is definitely a great example. He's a guy that just doesn't get enough credit, especially for how he resurrected his career with the Raiders. Trayvon Moehrig is another player that I think doesn't get enough credit. But look at the Rams. Taylor Rapp is one of the best safeties in the NFL, at least in the conversation, and nobody knows his name, or nobody really knows about Taylor Rapp. But I will stand on the table for what I believe in terms of building through the draft, and I think that's where this franchise needs to start. It's no longer about going out and signing all these big-name free agents. It's no longer about whether you're Antonio Brown or whoever, it's no longer about getting those big names. It's about drafting, developing, and keeping those players in-house to be a powerhouse for a long time. And I think that's where the Raiders are heading. And again, we've seen it with Josh McDaniels. We've seen it with the Patriots over the years. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, there's a time and a place for free agency acquisitions. I get that. I think Davante Adams is a name that's come up a lot. We've even went out and made a video about, 3 guards we think we need to, the Raiders need to get. Go check that out as well. Listen, again, there's a time and there's a place for free agency and the draft to coalesce, to combine forces. There we go. But I think at the end of the day, the main message and the main culture this team and the new direction of the organization needs to head is through building through the draft. Again, I think that's where you're going to find a lot of sustained success. I think at the end of the day, there has to be not only just a general more shift of the mindset, but also the direction of the team in terms of the draft, because and I think that kind of goes, with everything in terms of just like shifting focus on how this team is going to get better. There may be seasons where it doesn't go the best, and that's okay. That is like you have to know that, okay, this draft was a good draft, but they're not, these players aren't the best players in the NFL yet. That's why you develop these players. And I think, that, again, that's where the Raiders, especially as an organization, I believe that's where they're going to start putting their focus into. And I think you're going to see a lot of, even these couple of draft classes from the past, I think you're going to see a lot of these players just start to develop. You're going to see a lot of these players that you didn't think were going to be, making a big difference on defense. They're going to be making a big difference. You're going to see guys 5th-round draft picks that are all of a sudden a starter on offense or defense, or a key contributing 7th-round draft pick that all of a sudden, whoa, they've got a rotation in this defense. Evident by the Vikings and lots of other teams like the Patriots and everybody else, that seems to get the Broncos with Jonathan Cooper, I think was his name, the defensive end out of Ohio State, 7th-round draft pick, made an immediate contribution. Listen, I think at the end of the day, yes, drafting for the player you want is going to be important, but the focus moving forward for this franchise has to be to build through the draft. And yes, maybe signing one or two free agents, if you really need them and you don't really see that position necessarily in the draft. But the message is clear. If the Raiders and any NFL team for that matter want to be good, it's about building through the draft. And I think the Raiders are going to start doing that. And I'm really excited, especially because I think this is it. This is going to be an integral draft for the Raiders moving forward, especially with the new head coach, new GM, and new culture for the organization. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. In the description down below, you'll find all of our social media platforms, so give us a like and a follow there. Also, please remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com. Or in the description down below, you can just, obviously put it in the comment section down below, you can go ahead and enter your comments, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about the Las Vegas Raiders needing to build through the draft.